now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan. Hey, we'll take on Twitter. Talk to the latest in Auburn athletics news as tomorrow marks the end of the portal entry cycle, meaning that no one else can enter the portal after that day. People can still make commitments, but no one else will be able to enter the portal after tomorrow, which is absolutely insane that, good Lord, there's still like 4,000 players that are still in the portal, which is it's got to be fixed. It absolutely has to be fixed. But today we're going to talk about Auburn and the transfer portal as we know it thus far, and kind of just looking at it on paper, where it looks like Auburn has improved the most throughout this cycle. Of course, just kind of updating, Auburn has picked up one commitment since the last time we have conversed with each other, and Oregon State offensive tackle Jacob Strand. And from everything I've been saying about him, seems to be a very good depth piece, very reliable, started a few games for Oregon State this past season. And, of course, departures, Jacoby Matthews has announced his intentions to enter the portal as well. And there are also a couple of guys around the place that Auburn is planning on. They're still on visits. There's a guy I saw who's already playing like 3 visits just over the past week. So a couple of guys all around the place that Auburn is still after and still positions of need to hit on. Again, defensive line, I still think you need some more depth pieces. Linebackers, some linebacker guys who are pretty highly touted that Auburn is in the mix for. Edge rushers. I mean, defensively, you're getting a lot of guys who are going to be playing anyways. Rotation. That is the DJ Durkin way. But offensively is where I think Auburn's seen the most growth out of their transfer portal cycle, or out of the transfer portal roster they've brought in. So I'm going to go through my top 4 positions. Again, offensive. I didn't put offensive line on here because I on paper, I don't know how much Auburn really has improved in that room. I think, and again, it looks like, tangible growth is better than no growth whatsoever. But I mean, still unsure about the tackles interiorly. I'm pretty confident it's going to be pretty good with Cole Best and Cole Skinner coming on to the Tigers. But tackles are still a little bit of a question mark for me. And so getting into it, my number 4 position that I think Auburn has improved the most on over the transfer portal cycle is, of course, the tight end position. Of course, last year, Auburn's tight end group was abysmal. Didn't really get to see any of Ryan G. Brandon Frazier was out for the majority of the year, and he would have definitely been the best tight end on the roster, if not that. And, of course, Preston Howard just laying a nothing burger every time he stepped on the field, which he is now transferred back to Maryland after this season, which is absolutely insane to me. But the tight ends, I mean, you picked up 3 guys who are 6'6", and they are all balanced. And you picked up Jake Johnson, the most recent one, a UNC guy. You have Jonathan Eccles, a do-it-all tight end from USF, and then the athletic monster that is Xavier Newsome. I think those 3 are very solid pickups. And again, when I came into this offseason, I did not imagine Auburn was going to completely revamp the tight end position, but I'm all for it. I think it's definitely a position group that, worse for wear, hasn't been all that great in a few years. I mean, you had Rivaldo Fairweather. He had a lot of bright spots to him. But as a group, as a whole, Auburn's tight end room has been fairly dormant for quite a while. So I think you have a lot of electricity going on here. And especially because if Xavier Newsome can develop like Larry Scott thinks he can, super excited to see what his upside is going forward. So yeah, tight ends, definitely a massive improvement from what we saw over the previous season. Number 3 on my list, and this one, you already know who Auburn's got coming back in this room. And, I mean, you don't really – and you got a couple of guys, the young guys who are staying around. But I think there's an argument to be made that the running back position has definitely improved in terms of overall depth. You brought in Bryson Washington and you brought in Nakai Davenport. And again, that's only 2 guys you brought in. But you're bringing back Jeremiah Cobb, who was your workhorse guy, and you pretty much ran into the ground because you didn't have a backup who could, take over for him when you really desperately needed it the most. So I'm going to say running back. You mean Nakai Davenport is more of a power back in terms of guys like Bryson Washington, who's a home run guy. And I think that stable of backs is going to be pretty solid going into the season. And not to mention, you still have guys like Omar Mapps and Alvin Henderson are still growing and getting ready for their time to shine. And with Jeremiah Cobb returning, I mean, you're expecting a big season out of him, but now he's got the help that he so desperately needed last season at the end, especially because, I think that the lack of guys to take over for him are the major reasons why he didn't hit 1,000 yards. In reality, he definitely should have hit it versus Alabama because he probably should have been close to hitting it versus Mercer, but it didn't happen. So having guys to kind of rotate in that room is going to be extremely beneficial going forward. So super stoked to see Bryson Washington and Nakai Davenport there to kind of, help corral what Auburn was doing last season with Jeremiah Cobb. Now, number 2 on my list, this is not going to be a shocker whatsoever. Quarterback, which might be a shocker. That's not number 1, but obviously quarterback. Again, Auburn swung and missed on Jackson Arnold last season. Absolute colossal failure of a hype. And of course, you brought in Ashton Daniels. Denver gave him a chance to start until the end of the season. He has now transferred out and gone to Florida State, where I presume he'll be either competing for the starting job or is being handed the starting job. And of course, guys like Deuce Knight, who's now at Ole Miss. Jackson Arnold, of course, is at UNLV. So who'd you bring in? You brought in Lachlan Hewlett. You brought in Tristan Tia. And of course, you've also brought in the one and only Mr. Byram Brown. Again, this is a massive improvement from the room last year because you have a set, proven winner of a quarterback in your midst now. Again, it's not Peyton Thorne where he had a good season, really good season with Michigan State where, his running back and Kenneth Walker really kind of carried the load there. And, you kind of brought him in. He was a big question mark on how exactly he was going to be molded into a Hugh Freeze offense. Then you bring in Jackson Arnold, another question mark. He wasn't getting to the point that he was supposed to be at Oklahoma. Could Hugh Freeze mold him into it? Could not happen. Byram Brown, you're bringing him into a offense that he is already very aware of. We've already seen what he can do versus, Power 4 conference teams. And again, you have a proven winner there. Dude basically carried the team on his back all the way up to to a 9-win season a year after getting 6 wins without him. So he carried them for the 30 extra wins. And again, getting guys like Lachlan Hewlett, who who transferred in, he was a freshman last year, and a guy who's already bought into what Alex Golesh is doing. Tristan Tia has a ton of upside as well. So again, the quarterback room I think is a massive improvement, strictly because of Byram Brown and just him being the best quarterback out of the last 3 Auburn had start for them. And again, there was something I saw, and it was on Locked On Auburn, a guy mentioning that Byram Brown is a better quarterback than Arch Manning. And there was some shock there. I don't fully know if it's even a shocking statement to make. I think as an absolute playmaker and a guy who can make a difference, Byram Brown is better than Arch Manning in that regard. Now, potential is a whole other thing because Arch Manning has more years ahead of him than Byram Brown is. But both these guys are NFL caliber talents, but we've just seen better versions of Byram Brown than we've seen of Arch Manning. So I don't think it's a wild statement to make. And of course, if it goes awry again, then this episode will have aged poorly. But we're not going off of that. So all of these positions, I think Auburn has improved starkly in. Tight end, running back, and quarterback. I think defense, again, has a lot to argue for in terms of overall depth. You haven't really touched on anything in the unit, the special teams unit. I think you're pretty much running forward with McPherson and John Allen McGuire, more likely going to be your starting punter and kicker. What could be my position group that I think Auburn improved in the most? Well, it might be the wide receiver room. I think Auburn has completely revamped their wide receiver room for the absolute better. Again, Cam Coleman is an absolute, a unit of a wide receiver, and it's a big, not a big problem, but it does suck losing Cam Coleman strictly because, if he had played one more season at Auburn, he would have been seen as the greatest wide receiver to ever touch Jordan-Hare Stadium's field. But Auburn, outbidding happens. And you lose guys like Perry Thompson and Malcolm Simmons, Eric Singleton, Horatio Fields. You lost your whole production unit. You bring back Bryce Kane and Sam Turner, which is big time in terms of overall development going forward. And how did you respond to that in the portal? You picked up all of USF's receiving core, which as a unit in the chemistry itself, it's vastly superior over what we saw from last season with Auburn. And again, Christian Neptune and Chaz Nimrod are lightning quick guys. Corey Pettigrew is going to be your go up and get it guy. And then, of course, the tandem of Jeremiah Kozier and Keyshawn Singleton are an absolute deadly duo to any secondary group. And again, Auburn is recruiting other receivers too. I mean, any other receiver added in at this point is a commodity, and it's not a necessity, which is big time. Again, I think Golesh and Cody Burns have done a phenomenal job of turning the wide receiver room around and really turning this room into a tangible group that is, they've played together before. They're all moving up to the next level of their game together. They have their quarterback. They have their play caller. On paper, it might not seem like an upgrade, but it is, strictly because you get the chemistry level that you didn't have at the same height with last year's team. And again, the talent level, of course, with guys like Cam Coleman and Malcolm Simmons. I mean, the potential and of Eric Singleton. I mean, yeah, it might not seem like Auburn is improving because they're going for the G5 wide receivers. As a group, though, how can you say it's not a better group? Because we've seen what they can do together before, and now they're going up and getting better coaches. They're getting better opportunities, and they're getting overall the same coaching that they got that turned USF into a winning program. So I honestly, I don't think it's a hot take in the slightest for me to say that wide receiver is the best position group that Auburn or the most improved position group going into next season. Now, of course, spring ball has a whole other can of worms to talk about as we get closer to it, which I believe spring ball it starts in March or late February. It always starts sooner than the previous years. Again, I fully believe that Auburn has pretty much done a great job, and Golesh has done a great job in the portal thus far. Auburn's up to number 16 in the country. Again, I predict Auburn to finish number 1, and I got some heat for it, and I might be wrong, but Golesh has done the rebuilding process the right way. And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, they're still in the top 10 in terms of guys brought in. I mean, 26 total commits brought in, and the transfer portal rankings don't really amount to a lot when it's all said and done. I mean, Oklahoma State's currently number 5 in the transfer portal, and I don't know of anyone who's talking about them being national title contenders going into next year. So the rankings themselves don't matter, but it's the quality of player that you're getting and the chemistry and the culture levels that you're bringing in with you. So again, I'm all for the transfer portal class that Golesh has brought in. Again, 26 total commits, and again, you can clown them for all you want for bringing in USF guys, but those USF guys are ready to play for Golesh no matter what team he is on. All these guys would have followed him to the moon if he had gone. So, again, super stoked for that. But that's pretty much my list. Again, positions that I didn't touch on, again, are just positions that I think did get good guys in, but I'm just not ready to fully say it's improved yet. Again, I would need to get closer to time to spring ball, but these groups, I'm set in stone. Auburn's going to be better at these positions than what we've seen from the previous ones Auburn's brought in. But like corners, I mean, Andre Jordan, Shamar Arnaud, I want to see a lot more of what they can do. We haven't really seen a whole lot of Gavin Jenkins. Safeties, I mean, you already know what you got in the safeties because you got Anquan Figans and Eric Winters, who are the best safety duo in the country, at least freshman duo, if I want to untoot the horn a little bit. But yeah, positions of need have been touched on, and I mean, there's still plenty of time to bring in some more portal guys. And as it currently stands, I mean, you only got about 24 hours to get your name in the hat if you're wanting to transfer out. But at this point, I think a lot of teams are kind of set in stone with their rosters that we're seeing right now. Robert Dickens, 6120. I see the Indiana hat. Are you from there or just a fan? I collect hats. I have an Indiana hat. That's right there strictly because I hate Alabama. And I put it there after they beat them. So I'm just going to hold it there until they win the national title. Because I mean, they've been killing everybody since I put the hat there. I'm not an Indiana fan per se. I'm a Cignetti fan for a lot of the same reasons. I mean, I like Golesh. I respect Indiana, and I think there's not a better. I think even Indiana, I could put. They did their recruiting. They did their rebuilding the same way that Golesh is doing his now. So I put it there as a reminder for that too. So this is what I'm imagining Coach Golesh is currently trying to match right now. This is the gold standard of college football right now. Is how Indiana is doing everything. So yeah, not an Indiana fan, fully Auburn, but I do have a lot of respect for Cignetti and Indiana right now. So. And they beat Alabama by 35 points. So they're great in my book. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. What is the position group do you think Auburn has done the best job at recruiting through the portal? And which group do you think has been the most improved thus far? So a quick little break. Other side of this break, we talk some Auburn basketball. After they start off SEC play 1-3. So stay tuned. I'm going to be right back. Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program. Of course, get that merch on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop today and get your very own college loop shirt and hat. Now, of course, that's on the Watch Sports channel. The best Watch Sports channel, of course, by liking the video, by commenting on the video, let me know which position group you think Auburn has improved the most on through the portal, and of course, by subscribing to the YouTube channel, helping us get to our next big milestone of 2,000 subscribers. Auburn basketball. Oh, my Lord. I came on here and I said, if Auburn can play good defense, they would beat Missouri. Well, I would say they played decent-ish defense, but Missouri shot 56% from the field, 47% from the three-point line, which is absolutely insane. And how did Auburn respond to this? They shot 41% from the field, 29% from the three-point line, beat a team in free throw percentage, which, I mean, that in of itself is a shocking thing to say. Out-rebounded a team again, but overall, I mean, they just the energy was just flat out awful. This was up next for them is South Carolina, and it's like I want to say that's a win because South Carolina, they're not the best team in the world, but I went into this game confident Auburn was going to get right after beating down Arkansas. And good Lord, man, this is an embarrassing statement of a game. This is just, it's awful. It's abysmal. And just kind of being, Auburn fan here. It's hard to even guess like what exactly has to be fixed going forward. But man, dude, this is I hate this. I absolutely hate this. This is awful. I do not like this whatsoever. But yeah, energy level was just flat out awful, man. It was just an abysmal watch. I just could not fathom the inconsistency of what Auburn basketball is right now. And again, you have your leading scorer was Elijah Freeman and Kevin Overton. Elijah Freeman came off the bench. Todd Pettiford only had 9 points, shot 0 for 5 from the 3-point line. Keyshawn Hall only had 10 points after scoring 30 in back-to-back SEC games. He shot 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. So, I mean, it's just an abysmal display of Auburn basketball. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that they're a bad basketball team, but what they're doing is not the Auburn basketball that I have been accustomed to seeing as of late. And it's not even the fact that the star power isn't there. It's strictly just because, man, dude, this team is not playing coherently. Every single person that registered a singular minute in this game in the plus minus category ended in the minus. The closest thing you had to a positive number was Sebastian Williams-Adams and Elijah Freeman with -1. Kevin Overton was a -17. Tahad Pettiford -3. Murphy -4. Keyshawn Hall was a -6, which is horrific. Blake Muchalek was a -9. Philip Jovic was a -9. And you let Missouri just be an efficient monster versus you. And they only had 2 players in the negative. Everybody else was a positive. And you had 3 of them that had an 18, a 10, and 10 and a 10. So, I mean, it's not good. It's not a good look. It is a horrifically bad look for Auburn basketball to have started off the season this way. And again, it was you go into the year and you're talking about how tested you are and how, you've played all these quad 1 teams and you're unable to get it done when it matters the most. I mean, you let A&M walk into your house and take you down. You let the refs kind of take over that one for you. Georgia, you were just unable to stop Georgia. Missouri, you just could not get out of your own way versus Missouri. So now up next for you got South Carolina, who you're favored to win big, but guess what? They have the same record Auburn does. And it's in the same fashion. I mean, they got whooped by Arkansas, and they got beat by Georgia, and they lost to Vanderbilt, who Vanderbilt is actually a very good team because they're playing coherent basketball, which Auburn is not. So it's a bad look, man. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Auburn is going to miss the tournament or anything. I still think this is a tournament team, a tournament caliber team in every which way they can be. But something's got to be fixed, dude. The team is not deep. You're only playing really like guys who make a difference in the game. You're only playing 6 people. Or, 7 people. Sorry, correction, 7. You're only playing 7. You're not a deep team. So whenever you have 4 people who are cold, that is a issue with your depth. Philip Jovic, I mean, he has moments where he pops off, but I mean, you can't have these long stretches of, Keyshawn Hall and Tahad Pettiford and Elijah Freeman and Kevin Over. You have all 4 of those guys that are just unable to score. And those have been your reliable pieces. And when those guys can't score, the other 3 aren't really in the mannerism of taking over yet. They've not gotten to that growth period yet. So I'm going to say Auburn's going to beat South Carolina, but I'm biting my tongue when I say it. It's a home game, so I'd imagine Auburn's going to be on their best look. But I came into this week saying Auburn has a chance to really kind of turn things around. You beat Arkansas by a lot, and you had 3 unranked opponents right in front of you that you just had to take care of, and then you could build up some momentum going into that Florida game, and when you play Texas, when you play Tennessee and Alabama and Vanderbilt and Arkansas for a rematch in Fayetteville. But it's just so inconsistent of a product, and you gotta figure out what works best for your team. going forward if you're Pearl, because South Carolina is going to put up a fight against you because everyone else has. And I mean, they're pretty much the same team as you. Just look at the stats; they are the exact same team Auburn is. The only difference is Auburn has a lot more blocks, which is crazy for the size Auburn is. But come on, it's got to get better going forward. Embarrassing game, absolutely embarrassing game. But regardless, shout out Auburn women's basketball though. They're off to a 1-3 start, but in the SEC, but I think there's been a lot of tangible growth from them. They beat Florida, so they're on, and it's Texas is a very good basketball team in the women's basketball world, which you can't ever have that again. I mean, losing by 61 points is not a laughing matter. But again, you're fighting hard against a team like Mississippi State. You put a lot of fight into that. You put a lot of fight in Tennessee. You got Alabama tonight at 8 p.m. So go check that out. It's going to be SEC Network. Again, a game that Auburn is not going to be heavily favored in, and they're not going to be heavily favored in the next stretch of games either because they have. Let me just read off Auburn women's basketball's next few games. So they played number 21 Bama tonight, number 5 Vanderbilt in Nashville, number 13 Oklahoma at home, number 2 South Carolina at home, and on the road versus number 16 Ole Miss. And then you have at Florida, and then you have number 6 LSU right after that. So SEC's loaded women's basketball, and we all knew this. But this team has the level of, if they are hitting their shots right, they'll give any team a run for their money. And that's exactly what a year one of a coach should be is, finding ways to punch someone in the mouth. And that's what, they can do tonight. I mean, they're favored to lose by 10 tonight. Alabama has got some shooters on their team that, Auburn just has to play good defense in them. And they have Carly Weathers on their end, who's, almost averaging a dang double-double. She's just a couple of rebounds short of it. But I mean, you got some scores. Alabama's a team which only 45% from the field, 36% from the 3-point line. They're going to shoot the ball. So it's going to be up to Coach Vic and company to kind of lock them down. I would love to just get a win over Alabama. Just beat them at home. It'd be great. But don't see it happen in year one. But I do love the energy level that Coach Vic is bringing into this team. But yeah, just go out and support your local women's basketball team in Auburn, Alabama tonight on SEC Network. They take on number 21 Alabama. And also support gymnastics. Of course, Auburn is number 6 in the country, one of the best vault teams in the country right now, if I'm not mistaken, unless the score has been fixed. The last I checked, they were number 1. If you've not been to Auburn Gym Meet, do yourself a favor and go watch Auburn Gymnastics in Neville Arena. And they'll be they won't be back this week, but they'll be in action this Friday or this Sunday, actually taking on the number 10 Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville at 5 p.m. CST on the SEC Network. And yeah, Auburn Gymnastics they've been great for a while. Me and my fiance always make a habit of going to at least one. Might need to make it more of a thing to go to more, especially if Auburn basketball is about to go even in SEC play. But regardless, I mean, Auburn Gymnastics is absolutely electric. I mean, Sophia Bell lit it up. Paige Zancan is an absolute beast. Sophia Greaves, they're all a bunch of beasts, man. If you ever feel like, you could ever be an athlete again, go watch Auburn, go watch a gym meet, and you will feel like the most unathletic slob just by watching one routine on the bars. But yeah, Auburn Gymnastics is on fire right now. We'll be able to, we'll be talking about it on the Sunday live stream because they'll be going on during it. But yeah, regardless, man, Auburn Gymnastics is good. Women's basketball showing promise. Auburn softball is getting a lot of hype. Auburn baseball has earned a lot of their hype. Auburn men's basketball, you just got some holes to fill and you're good going forward. Just got to figure out how to get rid of these dead periods you keep getting yourself into almost every game. But it's being more consistent with your shot selections. And I mean, dude, I hate that Todd Pettiford has had a mixture of sophomore slump and, boomer bust guy. I mean, he needs to play more like a point guard. And again, I don't know if you should be putting like Mushalek in as much anymore. But you can't have these guys playing all 40 minutes of the game. But So that's going to do it. We get to these comments, and then we'll get on out of here. Chris Vincent, I think the receiving core has upgraded the most. Wideouts and tight ends will be a focus this next season. Should be interesting. Which I completely. Coach Golesh is a sucker for the multi tight end set. So I think getting 3 tight ends, they're all receiving threats is big time. Especially because all of them are 6'6". How tall is every time I say they're 6'6", I always forget how tall is Ryan G. I don't remember how. I get one letter wrong and think I'm talking about someone else. I don't know how tall Ryan G is. He's 6'5" too. Auburn's got 4 tight ends that are 6'5" or 6'5" and up. Because I think Newsome and I guess the other guys are 6'6". Tallest tight end room in the country, more than likely. You get 2 wide receivers who are 6'4". Good Lord. But yeah, you're gonna see a lot of tight ends, multiple tight end sets, a lot of 12 and 13 personnel for Golesh going forward. Shaking my head, Auburn basketball, leftover attitudes from the Freeze era. I hope not. I hope not. They keep saying they're not close anymore, and they don't want to say it anymore. So hopefully the Freeze era attitude is like out of Auburn by a couple days ago. Robert Dickens, loving the show, Dylan. Great work. Appreciate that, buddy. No meter Martin. Ha's a 2 guard. He's playing out of position. I can see that. I mean, Auburn doesn't have a true point. I guess covered Overton would probably be more the point. So yeah. But again, yeah, Hod's playing. They're having Hod play the point. That's what Pearl's been talking about. But Hod is a point guard size player, but he is not shooting like a shooting guard. He's taken on more of the playmaker route of things. And I mean, yeah, pass the ball, get your assists up, but you got to hit some of these shots if you're Todd Pettiford. The team relies too much on what Todd Pettiford can do for the team to have him as a non-factor for game upon game upon game upon game. And again, Keyshawn Hall has been lighting it up, and you see what happens if he doesn't have 30 points. Auburn loses by 10 points. So Auburn's got to find a second option scoring-wise. Auburn quarterback Tia will be the next great quarterback after Brown. Stamp it. I like Tia a lot. I think he has a lot of promise from at least the film that I've watched of him. I'll just have to see. I mean, who knows what Lachlan Hewlett has? I mean, he has a touchdown pass on a fake punt, so he might even be the punter next year. We don't know. But yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Tristan Tia, and I'm going to be glad to see whenever spring ball starts just how exactly a lot of these guys play, especially the defense. I'm super stoked for the defense, especially if the defense can pick up like another edge rusher or two and pick up a lot. I would say just another linebacker just to have a more cohesive. I don't want to say more cohesive unit, but just kind of adding another guy in there to kind of help, level out everything. I think it'd be pretty big, but the offense is going to be the point of focus because it's been the worst part of Auburn football since. Good Lord, when was the last time Auburn's offense was not a pain to watch? Is it 2017? It might be 2017. Last time the Auburn offense has not given me a migraine week in and week out. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what these guys can kind of mold into, especially the younger guys who are going to be with Golesh for a while going forward. So we're going to go and get out of here. Nice 34-minute show. DL, last time I felt this way was when I found out Cam was coming to Auburn for – I download last time or D line. I'm an idiot sometimes. Last time I felt this way was when I found out Cam was coming to Auburn. Cam Coleman or Cam Newton? That's a different. But I don't know if anyone's brought in this. I mean, Byron Brown has definitely brought in that level of hype, but I don't know if Tristan Tia right now is going to earn that same level of hype yet. I mean, he's good. He's good, but I don't know if comparing him to Cam Coleman is in that same regard. Newton. Oh, okay. So Cam Newton. I was 10 years old when Cam Newton came to Auburn. Or 9 years old. Whenever Cam committed to Auburn, I can't lie to you. I could not. I was not that deep into football to know who Cam Newton was when it happened. It was like that first game versus Arkansas State where I finally was like, "Oh, this guy's awesome." I think it was Arkansas. Was it Arkansas State? Because I mean, I could go back. I'm Cam Newton fanboy now. But I remember me and my family were actually at the beach when that game was happening, and I was like running in and out of my dad was on the grill during that home opener, or the season opener. So yeah, it was Arkansas State. And I was just in and out of the hotel room screaming about, "Oh my God, you got to see this guy! You got to see Cameron Newton." Just going in and back out, just trying to tell my dad everything that happened. And 52 points later, I mean, I was in and out of there very quick, or a lot. So, I don't know if Tristan T. Listen, I will, in any shape of the word. If you're talking about Cam Newton and the hype level you're feeling towards a guy because he feels like Cam Newton 2.0, throw that out of your head, because every single person I've ever said is Cam Newton 2.0 has never lived up to it. Not a single time has it happened. Which RIP Baylor for saying that DJ Lagway, or who was it? Was it Gus? Gus told DJ Lagway that it felt like Cam Newton again. It reminded him of Cam Newton. So Tio is rated a 4-star, and he does have the skill set to be a good quarterback in the system. He's the highest rated quarterback coming out of high school on the roster. Yeah. I mean, Brown was a 3-star. Hewlett, I think, was also a 3-star, and the new kid is also a 3-star. So, I mean, yeah, it's all about development, though. All about development. So again, if he's got the second most experience on the roster too, so you're gonna see some snaps from him, especially in the tune-up games. After, of course, Baylor, I imagine if the offense is anything like I can see it being, you're going to see a lot of Tristan Tia in week 2 versus Southern Miss, and again versus Samford, which Auburn only has 2 non-con beat 'em up games. Did they have 3 last year, or am I tripping? Do we have an open slot? 2, 3, 4. I am tripping because we have 9 conference games now. That's why I'm looking at this like an idiot. But yeah, I researched Cam hard before he came to Auburn. I just felt like Tia gonna be special like Cam was. I know he not Cam. Nobody is, but Tia gonna be a special player. I'll more power to you. Again, I think he's a very solid player. I just kind of want to see exactly what he develops into. I trust Golesh to develop his talent. He's developed Byron Brown into, the most important transfer commit of the season thus far. For anybody. I mean, he would. It was Auburn and nothing for him. But yeah, I haven't done that kind of digging where I would have built up any hype for him. The guy who I have built the most hype for on this roster thus far, because I know Keyshawn Singleton got a lot of hype, but Jeremiah Kosher is an absolute beast, and I was all over him whenever I saw his name come up. I looked him up, and I was like, oh my God. Which some people were saying he was slow, but you're going to look a little slow whenever you're taking long strides, because he is like 6'4". But yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to see the Golesh era again. You won't see me ever complain about Alex Golesh, because unless it doesn't pan out well in 20 years down the line after he's won 18 national titles. But since I since I called Golesh, whenever Auburn fired Hugh Freeze, I mentioned Golesh all the time. I trust him a lot, and I think he's the right guy going forward. And in the same instance of how you said you did a lot of research on Cam before he got here, I look back at how I felt towards all of the other guys, like Harston and Freeze. Harston, I had no idea who he was when Auburn hired him. And then Hugh Freeze, I was not ecstatic, but I definitely wasn't upset about it. I definitely was super stoked about Alex Golesh, though. Which, yeah, I'm super stoked about. He was always my pick going forward. I'm hyped for 2026 season. I believe we can win 10 regular season games and possibly make playoffs. You are bugging a little bit there, bud, but I'm all for it. Thoughts on the LSU D tackle we just picked up? I actually just got the notification about Walter Mathis. I'll do some research for him, but it's a good pickup to get. You need a D tackles. I think that North Carolina guy is still on his visit, so I imagine Auburn's probably trying to really get him as well. How often he played all 12 games, 9 tackles. He's a true freshman, so that's big time. Rising over 3 years of eligibility remaining. This is 6'2", 285. I mean, just reading the words on the article. I mean, depth piece is what I'm saying. I think you're going into this year. I think Malik Autry is your one guy. Jordan Crawford is definitely right there with him, and then everybody else just kind of fits into that rotation going into that year. But again, I mentioned D-line was a position of need. I think you just need to. I mean, you pick up that North Carolina guy, get an edge rusher. I think you're set for the defensive line going into 2026. And all it is probably getting a corner, maybe a corner. But I trust Golesh to do what's right. I trust Durkin to do what's right too. So I'm hyped for the season as well, conservative Cowboy, but I'm not booging yet. I'm stoked for it. I'm predicting a bowl game. I'm not predicting 10 wins. I've been bit too much for that in the past by my own hubris. So we're going to go on and get out of here. Nice 42-minute show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, leaving your thoughts on the Auburn transfer portal. So far, I mean, you've picked up 26 total commits, 27 total commits now, which, again, hit on all of them. I haven't done the full research on Walter Mathis. I kind of, when you said that, it's when the first time I ever, really saw it, and I just got on my phone just a second ago. But again, I think Golesh is doing a great job. He's building Auburn the right way. If you look at that hat right there, if it's not really focused, the Indiana hat, Cignetti did the same thing Golesh is doing. He recruited his guys and turned them into a winning caliber program. It's mentality, it's a culture, and Golesh is doing both of those things. So we're going to go and get out of here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yet again, follow social media platforms, every single one of them, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All those at The College Loop. Find me on Instagram as well at Don'tLockDYLRCK. Got me on Twitter as well at Yaboy the Tank, at YABOY the Tank. Find me there. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We're going to go and get out of here. Everyone enjoy your Thursday evenings at this point. And go watch Auburn women's basketball try to take down Alabama. And with that being said, and as always, War Eagle.